Shake up your art by finding ideas around your house. Since I seem to spend a lot of time there, my kitchen turned into the focus for our first project. Now, looking at these two pieces of art, I don't think that you would say they're kitchen art. I mean, they'd look lovely in a kitchen, but can you tell that they're inspired by my kitchen? This is kind of a hidden way of finding inspiration. What I've actually done is all of the patterns that are on here were inspired by things in my kitchen, and this will make sense in a moment. So I'm starting with a lightweight but strong piece of paper. This is just layout bond, and I'm going to do some incredibly difficult coloring. This is pretty much what it looks like, and I want my marker marks to look pretty streaky. And I'm just gonna butt colors up against each other. I'm just trying to create some different fields of color. If you wanna mix two different marker colors together, you can. If you wanna keep them separate, you can. If you wanna use colored pencils, you can. This is meant to be very flexible, very fun, and the idea is you just wanna fill a sheet of paper with color. And when you do, you're gonna have something that looks like this. Now see all these delicious streaky marks that you would normally hate? Those are great. They're gonna add visual texture. So now I'm gonna start to think about all of the different shapes in my kitchen. So what is a shape that is in my kitchen? How about a spatula? So if a spatula kind of looks like a stick with a thing on the end, this now can become a pattern. Well, let me show you how I'm gonna do this. It's gonna become a stick with a thing on the end and a stick with a thing on the end, and I'm just alternating the way that they come down. And maybe there's another one that's half on here, and I'm kind of sticking to this one field of color that I have here to almost be like the boundary of my pattern. And then I could even take a second color to color this in to make it a little more fancy. And again, I'm using colored pencils, but you could use paint for this. You could use markers. You could use, oops, I lost the tip of my pencil. And that's fine too. You can use whatever it is that you have on hand that is easy to grab and easy to use. So what are some other patterns we can do? Let's think about your kitchen, or if you're there, look around. So my cutting board is wood, but it's actually made of strips of wood. It has like stripes in it. So stripes are an easy thing. So I'm just gonna go ahead and lay in some stripes. Now, does this look like a cutting board? No, but it's 100% inspired by my cutting board. So my cutting board has thin strips and thick strips of wood so that it kind of is striped and cool. Now you might have, I have a hot mitt in my kitchen, which has like a plaid pattern on it. So I am just gonna go ahead and draw out a kind of checky plaid just like that. Doesn't look like a hot mitt, but it's inspired by a hot mitt. Or how about when I look at my stove and it has that really cool burner that looks like this and this and this and this and this and this. Now you can start to think about all the different rooms in your house, the areas. Your desk can be inspiring, your kids' toys, your purse, the items in your bag, you know, what you see in your living room if you're sitting at a bus stop. And notice how I even overlap patterns. The idea is you just want to fill an entire sheet with patterns, and people often wonder what to draw, how to find patterns, and the answer is they're all around you. How about the bar of the oven door? The bar of the oven door, the bar of the oven door, and mine happens to have a little thing in the middle like this. And now again, that's just a really cool pattern. So when you're done with that, you're gonna have something that looks like this. You can see my burners. You can see, I think this was a potato masher that inspired this, lots of different things. Now, you actually have a million little pieces of collage paper. So you can now cut these up, let's say into letters. So what I like to do is I like to chunk out one little piece. So I have my separate piece. Then I'm gonna go ahead and let's say that this is gonna become a J for Julie. And I'm just gonna cut that out. And you wanna save all your little scraps in case you wanna use them later. So here is my first letter. And then I'm gonna see what color I think would go next. And if you want something that's from the inside of your paper, you just cut on in to get to it. You don't have to worry too much. This isn't precious. There's no reason that it needs to stay together at all, but I'm gonna get out this kind of brown one in here. And we're gonna just cut out the U. Thank God I have a really short name, right? No, I'm teasing. You can do this with quotes, with ideas, with shapes, anything like that. But there's my JU. And now let's go ahead and keep going. Now, how do you learn how to cut out shapes like this? Some of it's practice, but if you're nervous about doing it sort of freehand the way that I'm doing it, A, don't be. It's just a piece of paper. If you mess up, there's always tape, and you can always do it again. But the second thing is you can actually flip it over and you can draw out. Now, you need to draw it backwards, but you can absolutely draw out your letter. Like there's my E, and I can go ahead now and I can just follow the lines of the E to cut that out. And you don't have to be particularly precise. That's one of the things I like about this technique, is it's really easy to just sort of be playful about it. So there, and you can see I even caught a second pattern here, and I think that looks fantastic because you're getting two for the price of one, so to speak. So I'm gonna go ahead now and just cut my I, which I'm just gonna do as a line, but you can see it right here. Julie. Now, a couple things. I just want to talk about adhering, which is I like to use a glue stick. I find that it's the easiest way to do it. And I just like to rub the paper across the stick and then stick it down onto my paper. And that's exactly how I did these pieces. And I even used the little scraps to create a border. So the next time you're in your kitchen, I hope that what you will see is patterns everywhere for you to use.